opens in Utica, New York, where a truck driver named Clean works as a garbage collector. He lives in a decaying neighborhood filled with crime and poverty. While collecting trash, he often keeps discarded items that still have some value. At home, these objects become symbols of his effort to make peace with his past. However, memories of his violent history still torment him, reminding him that no matter how hard he tries, he can never completely escape it. Clean drives to a scrapyard and feeds his dog some canned food. Later, he attends a support meeting where a veteran named Travis talks about his battle with drug addiction. Clean then shares that his own addiction was to violence. At home, he lives alone, still mourning his daughter's death and coping with the pain of his divorce. He cooks chicken for dinner and repairs an item he picked up during his garbage route. The next morning, he visits his neighbor and invites a teenage girl named Diana to join him for a meal. Grateful for his kindness, Diana reminds him gently that he is not her father. Before leaving for school, Diana gives Clean a handmade bracelet as a gift. After she leaves, he cleans up his place and goes to a thrift store to sell an item for some extra money. While there, he notices a woman purchasing a gun, which unsettles him. His mood changes later when he buys paint from another woman. Clean spends his free time helping his neighborhood by painting over graffiti on the walls. The next morning, he sees new tenants moving in nearby and once again invites Diana to have a meal with him. Clean watches the new tenants warily, unsure if he can trust them. That night, he is haunted by visions of his late daughter, waking up in shock and sorrow. Staring at her photo, he is overwhelmed with grief. The next day, he visits Travis's barbershop, where Travis tells him that sometimes the only way to move forward is to let go or learn to live with the pain. Meanwhile, the film introduces Michael, a powerful drug lord. He goes to pick up his son Mikey, who has just been released from prison. However, before Michael can reach him, Mikey's friends arrive first and take him away, leaving Michael angry and disappointed. Mikey's friends drive off with him, and although Michael is upset, he chooses not to interfere. Meanwhile, Clean finds out at work that due to staff cuts, he now has to cover a larger area on his garbage route. As he drives through different neighborhoods, he passes a seafood restaurant owned by Michael and notices a group of thugs dealing drugs nearby. He decides to stay out of trouble and continues his work. Later that night, at home, memories of his past and the death of his daughter still haunt him. The next day, Clean sees Diana walking to school because the bus no longer runs in their area. He offers her a ride, and during the trip, she asks why he's always alone and doesn't have a girlfriend. Clean admits he's not good with women and prefers to focus on his work. Meanwhile, Mikey's friends drop him off late, which angers his father, Michael. Michael pressures him to get involved in the family business, but Mikey mocks him, saying he can't stand the smell. Soon after, Michael discovers that 5 bags of cocaine are missing and suspects the Chinese couriers of stealing them. At the same time, Clean repairs his late daughter's bicycle and gives it to Diana so she can get to school more easily. Diana's grandmother, Ethel, decides to move out and tells Clean he doesn't need to look after Diana anymore. Clean replies that helping Diana isn't just for her, it's his way of saving himself, like a lost soul trying to find peace. Ethel reminisces about how the streets used to be filled with children playing, but now gangs have driven them indoors. She mentions seeing Clean painting over graffiti and says she believes he's a good man. Clean, however, quietly denies it. Later, while visiting Travis, Clean remembers buying a bicycle for his daughter and the happiness he felt watching her ride it, memories that still linger painfully in his heart. Michael spends time at church while his drug business operates behind the scenes. The cocaine is hidden inside fish deliveries brought in by Chinese couriers and then divided into small packets for local distribution. During one of the unloadings, Michael calls Mikey over and brutally beats the Chinese crew leader with a hammer to send a warning. He tells the others to check their shipments more carefully, then orders Mikey to clean up the blood. That night, while doing his garbage route, Clean notices blood and shattered glass left from the attack. Disturbed but silent, he keeps working. Right after that, Michael appeared behind Clean. He apologized for the bad smell and offered him a cigarette, but Clean refused. Michael then tried to give him a tip, which Clean also declined before walking away. The next day, Clean's truck broke down while he was driving through a rough neighborhood. As he checked the engine, a group of thugs ran past, chasing someone into an alley. Hearing screams, he hesitated but decided to look. He saw the gang brutally beating a man and froze for a moment, unsure what to do. When the gang noticed him and started approaching, another thug came from behind and struck him hard with a baseball bat. Clean woke up in the hospital, receiving treatment for his injuries. While lying there, he remembered a time when his daughter had caught him self-medicating. The doctor gave him a prescription, but Clean refused to take it. Later, at work, he was placed on leave because of his condition. On his way home, he saw Diana standing outside at night, explaining that her grandmother had taken the house keys. Clean invited her inside to stay warm. While there, Diana noticed he wasn't feeling well. As she looked around the room, she found a wooden box and opened it. Clean suddenly reacted, startling her so much that she ran out of the house in fear. At Michael's mansion, he tried to talk to Mikey, but Mikey was too distracted, rapping instead of listening. This angered Michael, and their argument quickly turned into a heated confrontation. Mikey pulled out a knife and threatened him, but couldn't bring himself to harm his father. In the end, he decided to leave home. Later, while driving, Clean saw Diana hanging out with a group of thugs. He told her to go home since it was getting late, but she snapped back, reminding him that he wasn't her father and couldn't tell her what to do. The thugs confronted Clean and warned him to back off, but Diana eventually left with him to avoid trouble. At a meeting afterward, a speaker talked about the inner demons that haunt people, how they drain hope and make them believe they'll never amount to anything. Outside, a man approached Clean and said his face looked familiar. Clean denied it, but the man insisted he recognized him as the former partner of a notorious gangster. Ignoring the comment, Clean went back to cleaning graffiti in an abandoned building. As he looked inside, he sensed that someone might be there and decided to check. While searching, he found an old toolbox with a wrench inside. That night, while driving through the neighborhood, Clean noticed Diana's bike parked outside a thug's house. Inside, the gang was drinking and using drugs, with Diana sitting among them. When she tried to leave, one of the men blocked her way, started recording her, and tried to harass her. Clean reached the door and saw Diana inside. Without hesitation, he stormed in and attacked the thugs with a wrench, taking them down one by one, including the man who tried to assault her. Mikey was among those present. After the fight, Clean carried Diana out and brought her back to her grandmother, not realizing that the entire incident had been recorded on someone's phone. Meanwhile, Michael stayed by his injured son's side. The doctor warned that Mikey needed surgery or he could lose his voice permanently. Michael refused the treatment, saying it would serve as a lesson for him. Later, he watched the video from the previous night and discovered Clean's true identity. Frank, a corrupt police officer, told him that Clean was just a garbage collector living in the slums. Worried that Clean might escape, Michael ordered Frank to kill Diana and Ethel to make him suffer before capturing him. Meanwhile, Clean was driving out of town with both of them. Not long after, a police officer signaled for him to pull over. When he stopped, Clean quickly realized the cops were working for Michael. Acting fast, he hit the gas and sped away, leaving the main road in an attempt to hide and switch vehicles. They stopped at a place with a bowling alley and a small diner. While Diana took Ethel to the restroom, Clean searched the parking lot for a car he could steal. Meanwhile, some of Michael's men spotted his vehicle nearby. After confirming it was his, they headed straight toward the diner. As the henchmen entered the diner, Diana and Ethel were just about to step outside, but quickly ran back in after seeing them. While waiting for them, Clean spotted one of the thugs, ambushed him, and took his axe. The rest of the gang continued the chase, forcing Diana and Ethel to run to the back of the building to hide. Their hiding place wasn't safe, and the henchmen nearly discovered them. Just in time, Clean appeared and confronted the attackers. A brutal fight broke out, but he managed to take them down one by one. After defeating them all, he returned to Diana and Ethel and told them to run. The story flashes back to a night when Clean was still a hitman. When he came home, he discovered that his drug syringe was missing and realized his daughter had used it. Tragically, she died, leaving him overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow. From that moment, his life changed forever. At a motel, Ethel scolded Clean for keeping her from going home, but he assured her that he would make things right. Later, Clean returned to the neighborhood and met with Travis, warning him about Michael's men. He then went home to collect some money and headed to a pawn shop to buy weapons. A friend who worked there provided him with one of the best guns available. After that, Clean gathered more supplies and blueprints to prepare for what was coming. Meanwhile, Frank received a call revealing that Clean was actually the notorious assassin once known as the Grim Reaper. Clean called Michael and warned him that he knew his location and was coming for him. He then used his old skills to craft a silencer for his pump-action shotgun. As a grim reminder of his past, he carved a tattoo into his own back. Finally, he suited up in body armor, armed himself with several weapons, and loaded everything into his car, ready for the fight ahead. Michael ordered his men to increase security around the property. Meanwhile, Clean returned to his garbage collection job as a cover. Parking his truck outside Michael's house, he tampered with the fuse box to set a trap, then silently took out all the guards stationed outside before heading back to his truck. While Michael and his men were drinking and celebrating, Clean crashed his truck straight into the house. The trap triggered, cutting off the power. Michael's crew opened fire on the truck, but Clean had already slipped out and launched a fierce gunfight against them. Moments later, Frank appeared, and the two engaged in a brutal hand-to-hand battle. Clean fired a flare gun at Michael and continued to chase him down. Michael tried to hide, narrowly dodging Clean's shots and managing to fire back first. Undeterred, Clean closed in, and the two engaged in a brutal, relentless hand-to-hand fight. Michael knocked Clean to the ground, leaving him dazed. In that moment, Clean saw a vision of his daughter, which gave him the strength to keep fighting. He rose to his feet and overpowered Michael. Just as he was about to finish him off, Mikey appeared and shot Clean, then turned the gun on his own father. Mikey kept firing until the gun was empty, and when he aimed at Clean again, he realized there were no bullets left. After the battle, peace returned to Diana's neighborhood. The streets were safe again, and children could finally play outside like they used to. One day, while riding her bike, Diana saw a familiar garbage truck passing by and smiled. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe for more movie summaries. See you next time, and have a great day.